Hello everybody, my name is Mallory, short for Smarty Reads, and welcome back. Today I'm going to read Chapter 9 of Step 4 Mallory. It's called Monday Madness. Before we begin, make sure you like this video, subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you know when I upload a new video. Also, share this video with your friends and family so they can watch me read as well. Hello everybody. So sorry I interrupted, but from YouTube I just saw this and it's weird because a lot of people are not subscribed and very little people are subscribed and watch my videos, so make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notifications as I've said in my video so you get more content. And yeah, bye. Hello everybody, so welcome back. Let's begin Monday Madness. Happy Monday, Mom says as Max and I walk out the door to go to school. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. I don't know how happy it's going to be when Mr. Knight checks his emails. When I get to the Winston's house, Marianne, Joey, and Winnie are waiting outside for us. Marianne and Winnie walk ahead like they don't want to be seen with the rest of us. That's fine with me because the people I want to be with are my best friends. As soon as they start walking, I tell them about the email I sent to Mr. Knight and what Matt said about it. Marianne puts her arm around me when I'm done talking. Mr. Knight might not be mad, she says. You gave him good advice. Marianne frowns. I don't think giving Mr. Knight any advice, whether it's good or not, was a very good idea. I can't take back what I sent, I say as we walk through the gates of Fern Falls Elementary. You can't take it back, says Joey, but maybe you should tell him that you're sorry you sent it. The bell rings as we walk into our classroom. No time to do that now, I tell Joey. Everybody in my class knows that Mr. Knight likes to start on time. When I'm inside room 404, I look at my teacher to see if he looks mad. I can't tell if that's how he looks, but what I can tell is that he's wearing a purple and yellow tie that says Monday all over it. And here's the thing about the purple and yellow tie that says Monday all over it. It's a pattern tie. It's not a sleek and simple tie. Maybe Mr. Knight picked this tie because he didn't get my email. Maybe my wish came true and somehow my email got unsent. I cross my toes and make a wish. That's what happened. Class, please open your spelling books to page 27, says my teacher. I keep my toes crossed and pull my spelling book out of my backpack. When we're done with spelling, Mr. Knight asks us to get out our math books. What he doesn't do is say anything about any student sending him an email with fashion advice. When the bell rings for recess, I uncross my toes and follow Marianne and Joey to the playground. Did you see Mr. Knight's tie? I asked my friend. Did you notice that he didn't seem any different this morning than he seems other mornings? Maybe I don't have anything to worry about because he didn't get my email. If you sent the email, I'm sure he got it, says Joey. Maybe he just hasn't read it yet. I still think you should say something to him before he says something to you. Marianne shakes her head like she doesn't agree. I'm not so sure. Why should Mallory say something if there might not be anything she needs to say? Here's what I'm not sure about. Who to listen to. One friend is saying one thing, one friend is saying another. During recess, Marianne, Joey, and CeeLo climb the monkey bars, but I don't feel like climbing. I sit on a swing and try to decide what to do, but I can't. The only thing I decide to do is see how the rest of the morning goes. Then at the bottom there's Mallory on the swings. After recess, we have science. Class, I'd like to talk to you about your Washington projects, Mr. Knight says when we're done with science. At least Mr. Knight didn't say. During recess, I checked my emails and I found one from a student that I didn't like. I won't say any names, but if you give me fashion advice, here's some advice for you. Start thinking up your punishment now because whatever I come up with will be a whole lot worse than anything you come up with. I take a deep breath. Maybe he won't say anything today. Mr. Knight keeps talking. After lunch, I'm going to announce partner assignments. He holds up a sheet of paper. I've already put everyone into pairs. You'll have time in class this afternoon to start working on your project with your partner. I hope I get to be partners with CeeLo, Marianne says to me. Marianne and I always think alike. I'm hoping for the same thing. Okay, everyone, from now until lunch, it's DEAR time, says Mr. Knight. In my class, DEAR stands for drop everything and read. I pull the book I'm reading out of my backpack. I try to drop everything, but there are a couple of things I can't drop, like the thought that Mr. Knight might have gotten the email I sent. I also can't drop the thought that I'd like CeeLo to be my partner on the Washington project. I try to read, but it's hard to think about what's happening in a book when you're busy thinking about what's happening in your own life. While we're reading, Mr. Knight sits on his desk in front of his computer. Now I really can't leave. I lean over in my desk to try to see if Mr. Knight looks like he's reading an email that might upset him. But it's hard to tell what he's reading because his face is hidden behind his computer screen. When the lunch bell rings, Mr. Knight stands up. You may go to lunch, he says. As everyone races out of the classroom, he gives me a funny look. I can't be sure, but I think it's an I just read an email I didn't like look. I run to catch up with Marianne. I pull on her arm to slow her down. I'm worried. I think Mr. Knight just read my email. Marianne grabs my arm and pulls me towards the cafeteria. Why should you be worried about getting to the cafeteria before they run out of... What you should be worried about is that getting to the cafeteria before they run out of turkey tacos. Maybe Marianne can think about turkey tacos, but I can't. And there's something else I can't talk about, and that's what everyone is talking about at lunch. Our Washington projects are going to be so much fun, says Pamela. I can't wait to find out who our partners will be, says Danielle. She looks at Ariel like she hopes they'll be put together. Marianne looks at the boys' table where CeeLo is sitting. I have a good feeling CeeLo will be my partner. Marianne says to me, Mallory, who do you think your partner will be? April asks me. I have no idea who my partner will be. I know who I'd like it to be, but right now the only thing I can think about is the look on Mr. Knight's face. I'm starting to think Joey was right. Maybe I should have said something to him before he has a chance to say something to me. While everybody is eating peanut butter cookies, I get up from the table. I know what I need to do, and I want to do it before everybody goes back to the classroom. I walk back to room 404. When I get there, it's empty. I thought for sure Mr. Knight would be at his desk. I'll just leave a note, I say out loud. I walk up to his desk and look for a sheet of paper, but the first list I see has the words Washington Project Partner List written on it. I stop. Part of me thinks I shouldn't look at the list, but part of me really wants to know what's written on it. Before I can decide which part to listen to, my eyes look at the list, and when they do, they can't believe what they see. I'm partners with Pamela, and Marianne is partners with CeeLo. My brain stops thinking about why I came to the classroom and starts thinking about who my partner is not. I pick up Mr. Knight's list to make sure I read it right, and when I do, I notice something else. It's written in pencil. And here's the thing about writing in pencil. The reason you do it is if you want to change what you wrote. Maybe Mr. Knight is planning to change what he wrote. I put the list back on his desk and I sit down and wait for him to come back to the classroom. I wait for what feels like a long time, but Mr. Knight doesn't come back. I look at the list again. Then I see a pencil on Mr. Knight's desk. Maybe Mr. Knight left the pencil on his desk because he was planning to use it when he comes back from lunch. I pick up the pencil. If Mr. Knight was going to use it, maybe he won't mind if I do. I put the pencil in my hand. My brain says put down the pencil, but I don't. I erase where Mr. Knight wrote Carlos and Pamela's name on the list. I write in CeeLo's name where Pamela's name was, and Pamela's name where CeeLo's name was. When I'm done, I put the pencil back on the desk. I don't know why I just did what I did. I don't know why I just did what I did. It's like my brain did it, It's like my hand did it, even though my brain told it not to. I pick up the pencil again. I need to undo what I did, and fast, before Mr. Knight comes back to the classroom. And there's Mallory holding the Washington Project partner list, and yeah. I start to erase, but the bell rings and everyone starts coming back into the classroom. I don't have time to erase. The only thing I have time to do is sit down at my desk. Did everyone have a pleasant lunch? Mr. Knight asks when he comes back into the classroom. I wouldn't exactly call mine pleasant. I can't believe what I just did. All of a sudden I feel hot, like I've been sitting outside at the beach for too long, and the sun is making me sick. Class, please turn your history books to page 42, says Mr. Knight. I can hardly focus on Benjamin Franklin and how he discovered electricity. The only thing I can think about is what I did and how I wish I could undo it. Time to announce the Washington Project partners, Mr. Knight says when we're done with history. He picks up his list and starts reading. Zoe, you're with April. Jackson, you're with Sammy. Mr. Knight keeps reading sets of partners, and then he stops, like he's confused about what he wrote. Mr. Knight is quiet for a minute. When he reads Mary Ann's name, his voice is low and quiet. Mary Ann, you're with CeeLo, and Mallory, you're with Pamela. Mr. Knight puts the list back on his desk. I'd like everyone to get with their partners, and you can start on your projects. I wait for Mr. Knight to say something about someone changing his list, but he doesn't. I feel my forehead. Maybe I have a fever, and I thought I changed the names around, but I really wrote them back where they were supposed to go. Everyone starts working with their partners on their projects. Even though I wanted to be partners with CeeLo, right now I'm happy I'm working with Pamela and not in trouble with Mr. Knight. I cross my toes that it stays that way. At the end of the day, Mr. Knight tells everyone to pack their bags. I take a deep breath. I can't believe I didn't get in trouble for the email I sent or what I did to Mr. Knight's list. I guess my wishing and toe crossing paid off. I shoved my books into my backpack. I've never been so happy to be packing up. All I want to do is go home. When the bell rings, everyone starts to leave. I'm one of the first ones to the door, but before I get outside, the moment I've been hoping wouldn't happen does. Mr. Knight stops. Mallory, he says, you and I need to have a talk. There's only one thing that can mean. I'm busted. That's the end of that chapter. I'll see you next time when I read Conference Time. Bye, everyone.